As Christians, we are called to live our lives in a way that honors God in all things, including how we manage our finances and resources. The Bible provides clear guidance on stewardship, emphasizing that everything we have ultimately belongs to God. Understanding and applying these biblical principles of stewardship is essential for cultivating financial health and living a life that glorifies Him. What is stewardship? Stewardship is the responsibility of managing something that does not belong to us. In a biblical context, it refers to managing God's resources according to His will. Psalm 24 verse 1 says, "The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world, and they that dwell therein." This verse reminds us that everything we own, our money, time, talents, and possessions, belongs to God. We are merely stewards, or caretakers, of these resources. To help us navigate our roles as faithful stewards, here are 10 key biblical principles for managing God's resources wisely. Number 1. Recognize God as the ultimate owner. The foundation of biblical stewardship begins with acknowledging that God is the ultimate owner of everything. This mindset shift is crucial because it changes how we approach our finances and resources. When we understand that our money and possessions belong to God, we are more likely to seek His guidance on how to use them wisely. Proverbs 3 verse 9 instructs us, "Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the firstfruits of all thine increase." By prioritizing God in our financial decisions, we demonstrate our trust in His provision and sovereignty. Number 2. Manage resources faithfully. As stewards, we are called to manage God's resources faithfully. This means being diligent, responsible, and intentional with what we have been given. In the parable of the talents, Matthew 25 verses 14 to 30, Jesus illustrates the importance of using our resources wisely. The servants who invested their talents were praised and rewarded, while the one who buried his was rebuked. This parable teaches us that God expects us to be proactive and productive with what He has entrusted to us, whether it is money, time, or talents. Number 3. Avoid wastefulness. Another key aspect of stewardship is avoiding wastefulness. In John 6 verse 12, after feeding the 5,000, Jesus instructs His disciples to gather the leftover pieces so that nothing would be wasted. This teaches us the value of being frugal and not squandering the resources God has given us. Being a good steward means using our resources efficiently and not living beyond our means. It's about making the most of what we have and being mindful of our spending, saving, and giving habits. Number 4. Be generous and compassionate. Biblical stewardship is not just about managing resources wisely, it also involves being generous and compassionate. 1 Timothy 6 verse 18 encourages us to do good, to be rich in good works, ready to distribute, willing to communicate. As stewards, we are called to use our resources to bless others, help those in need, and support God's work. Generosity is a reflection of God's character, and when we give freely, we demonstrate our faith and trust in His provision. Number 5. Plan and budget with purpose. Effective stewardship requires planning and budgeting. Proverbs 21 verse 5 states, "The thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of every one that is hasty only to want." Creating a budget and setting financial goals help us to be intentional with our money. It allows us to allocate resources for saving, giving, and spending in a way that aligns with biblical values. Planning and budgeting also help us avoid debt and financial stress, enabling us to live within our means and honor God with our finances. Number 6. Trust God for provision. Good stewardship involves trusting God for our provision. In Matthew 6 verses 31 to 33, Jesus tells us not to worry about our needs but to seek first His kingdom and righteousness, and all these things will be added to us as well. When we trust God and prioritize His will, we can be confident that He will provide for our needs. This trust enables us to be generous, avoid anxiety over finances, and live a life that reflects God's faithfulness. Number 7. Avoid the love of money. The Bible warns against the love of money, which can lead to greed and idolatry. 1 Timothy 6 verse 10 says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." As stewards, we must guard our hearts against becoming too attached to wealth and possessions. Money itself is not evil, but the love of it can lead us away from God and His purposes. It is essential to maintain a proper perspective on wealth, valuing spiritual riches over material gain. Number 8. Be honest and transparent in financial dealings. Integrity is a vital component of stewardship. Proverbs 11 verse 1 says, "A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is His delight." As stewards, we are called to be honest and transparent in our financial dealings, whether in business, personal transactions, or ministry work. This means avoiding deceit, fraud, or any form of unethical behavior. Being honest with our finances not only honors God but also builds trust and credibility with others. Number 9. Prepare for the future. The Bible encourages us to be wise and prepare for the future. Proverbs 6 verses 6 to 8 says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways, and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest." Similarly, we should plan for future needs, whether it's saving for emergencies, investing for long-term goals, or providing for our families. Preparing for the future is a form of good stewardship that reflects prudence and foresight. However, it's important to balance preparation with trust in God, knowing that He ultimately holds our future. Number 10. Serve God, not money. Ultimately, biblical stewardship is about choosing whom we will serve, God or money. Jesus clearly stated in Matthew 6 verse 24, "No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one, and love the other, or else he will hold to the one, and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon." As stewards, our primary allegiance must be to God, using our resources in a way that honors Him and furthers His kingdom. This means prioritizing His will over personal gain and seeking to please Him in all our financial decisions. Conclusion. Biblical stewardship is about recognizing God as the owner of all things and managing His resources in a way that honors Him. It involves being faithful, avoiding wastefulness, practicing generosity, planning wisely, and trusting God for provision. As we strive to be good stewards, may we always seek His wisdom and guidance in all our financial decisions, acknowledging that everything we have is a gift from Him. Remember, stewardship is not just about managing money, it's about managing our entire lives in a way that glorifies God. By applying these 10 principles, we can cultivate financial health and live as faithful stewards of the blessings God has entrusted to us. May we use our resources to bless others, support God's work, and ultimately bring glory to His name.